Hi guys, how are you all? This is FJ What If. Today we are going to discuss about what if Naruto was summoner of Shinigami part 1. Before start the episode, please like and subscribe my channel. Chapter 1. Final Valley. The dark clouds loomed around the valley. Lightning and thunder rained as it showed the scars and destruction of a battle of fate. The battle between Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha over the Uchiha's future in either Konoha or Oto. Upon closer inspection, there was only one person on the field in an unconscious state. It was the very blonde who fought against Sasuke. A small trickle of light was on the face of the blonde shinobi. His clothes were little ripped pieces and his body was covered in bruises from the fight. The most noticeable was the one on his chest, like he'd been struck by something hard. Naruto laid in his unconscious state for a little longer, and before any more time passed, someone came to the ground and looked at the blonde with a mournful expression. Naruto, you must have fought as hard as you could, the person said. They were wearing the standard Jonin vest for Konoha shinobi. They had white hair and their headband was over their left eye with a small cloth covering their mouth. It was Kakashi Hatake, Jonin sensei to Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno and Sasuke Uchiha. Kakashi looked at the damaged part of Naruto's skin and lifted the blonde into his arms. He flung Naruto over his back and shot off for Konoha, but not before looking back in the opposite direction. Sasuke, Kakashi said to himself before sighing and running off. The white-haired shinobi knew he had to hurry. He could feel Naruto's heartbeat and it was slowly stopping. Come on, Naruto. Just last a little longer, Kakashi thought and narrowed his left eye as he looked at the blonde's face. He could only hope that Naruto would be alright. Kakashi could only imagine if Naruto died. So many people would be sad, and maybe even Tsunade, their Hokage, would spiral into depression again. Minato-sensei, what would you do if you were holding your son like this? Kakashi asked in thought. He had no idea of what was happening with Naruto and how it would shape him to be who he always could be. Naruto's mind. Naruto laid in the emptiness of his mind. His unconscious state was visible to Kyuubi and the fox grumbled at its container. He offered the blonde power, but he still lost and his heart was giving out of him. The darkness around Kyuubi was growing more and more, making the Biju curse. Fading. It's fading. Am I going to die? Kyuubi wondered, and before long a white light appeared in front of him. The Kyuubi narrowed his eyes and growled at the newcomer, but quickly paled when he saw who it was. It was a white spirit with purple arms and a sword in its mouth. So the kid's finally dead, huh? I must say he was kind of lucky. The damn brat escaped me so many times it wasn't even funny, the figure said, and Kyuubi growled again. Shinigami, Kyuubi said, and the white-haired figure turned to the Kyuubi. The Shinigami narrowed his eyes, then turned back to Naruto. He took out his sword and traced it over the blonde's form. What's dead is dead. That means you're next, Kyuubi, the Shinigami said to him. He was about to slash at Naruto and rip the blonde's soul from his body, but turns out that fate was against even the Shinigami. Sasuke. Naruto yelled immediately and shot up, dodging the blade from the Shinigami in one swift move. Kyuubi widened his eyes and the Shinigami raised an eyebrow. This hadn't happened before in all the times the death god did this. Kyuubi was at least surprised, if not anything else. Damn it, brat, you sure know how to scare people. I thought I was gonna die because of you for a second, Kyuubi said, and instantly Naruto turned to his unwanted Biju behind its cage. Furball, what the hell happened? Naruto asked, making the Kyuubi growl. His container was always a damn smart mouth. It really irritated the fox to no end, but that was a point for another time. Damn brat. In case you're blind, the Shinigami is right in front of you, Kyuubi said, and immediately Naruto turned his head to see the real thing in front of him. The blonde gulped while the Shinigami looked at him with its menacing glare. Come on, brat. It's time to die, the Shinigami said, and Naruto immediately stopped paling and his expression changed from one of fear to confusion. But I'm not dead. Why are you here for me? Naruto asked, and the Shinigami sighed. This was so much better when someone was actually dead and not all into questions. Well, you'll be dead in a matter of seconds, so I might as well just stay here and wait for it. I swear, you humans fight over the simplest of things and die by the simplest of methods, the Shinigami said, and Naruto narrowed his eyes at the god. So fighting to save his friend was supposed to be a simple matter. Well, I don't care if you are the Shinigami or anything else, but I'm not dying till I become Hokage. Naruto yelled, making the Kyuubi grin at its container's disrespect to even the Shinigami. The spirit in question looked at the blonde impassively and sighed. How many people do you think have said that line? I've seen them all. I should just kill you right now rather than wait for your heart to fail. The Jonin that's carrying you isn't gonna make it. You're better off resigning to your fate right now, the Shinigami said, and Naruto stood to his feet, then proceeded to point at the death god. Humph, I don't care what you think. If I say I'm not dying, then I'm not dying. There are too many people counting on me and I've got to save Sasuke. He might be an ass, but I'm gonna bring him back, Naruto said, and the Shinigami rolled its eyes. Kyuubi simply remained silent and let its container talk it out with the Shinigami. You think you have a say in this? When you die, you will die. That's your final destiny. You will see me again if by the slim chance that you do survive this, which you won't. Face it, I'm taking you whether you like it or not, the Shinigami said, and Naruto allowed his blonde hair to cover his eyes. He crossed his fingers and glared at the Shinigami, making his conviction and determination clear in his eyes. Well, you're not taking me without a fight. I told you I won't die. Besides, I'm not so weak that I would lose against someone who babbles on about fate and destiny. I'll make it all my own. I'll decide when I die and I'll decide my destiny. So if you think your pale, ghostly, stupid Oni mask wearing face can tell me otherwise, then I dare you to try it. Naruto said, raring to go for a fight. Even if it was small to near non-existent, the Shinigami and Kyuubi found some respect for Naruto. No one had ever threatened the Shinigami before, so this was interesting. The Shinigami looked at the blonde and then he drew his sword back. You really have a mouth, you know. I've got little to no tolerance for you humans and your stupidity, but you're by far the most interesting. No one has talked to me like that before, the Shinigami said, and Naruto took out a kunai from his back pouch. Kyuubi snickered, making the two turn to him. Please Shinigami, if this brat can call the Hokage, old lady, and even me, furball, then there's no way he's gonna respect you that easily. Hell, I doubt he respects anyone, Kyuubi said, and Shinigami had to agree with him even if the death god didn't voice his agreement. Naruto pouted at Kyuubi's insult and huffed. Hey, I respect a lot of people, Naruto said, making Kyuubi roll his eyes while the Shinigami raised his own. I respect Hokage Gigi and all the Hokages, especially the Yondaime, Naruto said with a sense of pride. Kyuubi narrowed his eyes and so did the Shinigami. Naruto looked at the two for a second before he looked confused. Did I say something wrong? Naruto asked. Kyuubi broke from its stupor and so did the Shinigami. The death god wasn't sure, but it was getting off its original purpose. Well, anyway, Naruto Uzumaki, your heart's about to stop, so it's time to. I said no. I'm not dying before I become Hokage. Do what you want, but I'll beat you to a pulp if you try to stop me. Naruto said, thought in his head he knew he was insane. This was the freaking Shinigami. He was lucky it didn't kill him already, and now he had more nerve to threaten the god. Either he was very brave or very stupid, maybe it was both, the blonde wasn't sure. What makes you think you'll do anything? All you've said are words. You humans always say one thing and mean the other. You're no different. Don't think I don't know you, brat. I know how your village treats you. I know everything about you from your birth to right now, so what can you do that would make me think that you're any different from any other human? The Shinigami asked. Naruto looked at the ground as he felt the stares of Kyuubi and the Shinigami on him. The blonde, for some reason, could feel his heart growing colder and colder. He was feeling dazed and his vision was fading. You're beginning to fade, brat. In the next few seconds I'll be taking your soul, the Shinigami said. Kyuubi looked at Naruto and wondered what the blonde was going to do. Naruto in the meantime looked at the kunai in his hand and gripped it tightly. Fine, the Shinigami wanted different, then Naruto could very well do different. The blonde raised the kunai in his hands and in a swift motion surprised the Kyuubi and Shinigami when he used it to pierce his chest. Naruto knew that no blood would come from it, but it showed his conviction well enough to the Shinigami, who was downright surprised. This is how I'm different. My heart is different. I never go back on my word or I have nothing. That's my ninja way. Naruto yelled and the Shinigami narrowed his eyes. If the blonde did that in his conscious state, then there would be no way that he would survive. It's like he just gave his soul to the Shinigami without actually handing it over. All you humans are so stupid, but you're probably the most interesting. Fine then, Out of interest, I'll let you live. It'll be worth it to see you and your promises, the Shinigami said as it used its sword and struck Naruto in the heart. The blonde gasped at the hit while the Kyuubi narrowed his eyes at the sight. A small light glowed on Naruto's right hand and before long it settled down as the Shinigami slowly placed Naruto on the ground. What did you do to him? Kyuubi asked and the Shinigami turned to the Biju while putting its sword away. I'm going to keep an eye on him, maybe more than that. I've entered a summoning contract with him. Now I'll get to see how different he is from other humans, the Shinigami said and Kyuubi widened his eyes while his tails thrashed the caged. But no one's been in a full contract with you. The only other contract was that life-wasting jutsu the Shikifujin and only a select few people knew that, Kyuubi said and the Shinigami simply shrugged. It doesn't matter. I'll see how far this brat can handle if he's in a contract with me, the Shinigami said then immediately disappeared. Kyuubi raised an eyebrow then looked at its container. And people say I have a knack for causing trouble. The damn brat is a trouble magnet, Kyuubi said with a small chuckle before disappearing into the seal. Konoha hospital room. Naruto opened his eyes hazily and saw he was inside the hospital. The reason he could tell was because of the weird smell it had. Only a hospital could smell like this. The blonde sighed and rubbed his head. Was that a dream? Naruto wondered while rubbing his head. He immediately winced in pain as he touched his chest. It felt like it was slightly burning for a few minutes, but then it subsided giving the blonde some peace. Naruto sighed and laid back on the admittedly comfy bed. He then widened his eyes when he saw a seal on his right hand. It wasn't over-complex, but the blonde never recognized it before. He could at least see that it was for a summoning contract, however that was all he knew. That's this on my right hand. Naruto wondered and immediately his tenant decided to make its presence known. Brat, you really are stubborn, you know that. To challenge the Shinigami is downright insane, Kyuubi said and Naruto widened his eyes. It wasn't a dream. Him almost dying, his meet the Shinigami, him piercing his chest with the kunai. It was all real. That really happened, furball, Naruto said making the Kyuubi groan. Yes brat, it did happen and needless to say, but you did something that almost no one ever did. You actually managed to get a contract with the Shinigami. What he sees in your ass I don't know, Kyuubi said with a smirk. Naruto pouted at his Biju, but did admit that he had a point. What did the Shinigami want with him anyway? Naruto's thoughts were soon interrupted by a knock on the door and the blonde turned his attention to it. The door slid open and Naruto saw Sakura appear through the doorway. The blonde immediately frowned and looked at his sheets. Hey Naruto. It's a nice day, let me open the shades for you, Sakura said to him. Naruto didn't say a word as Sakura opened the shades and the window allowing a cool breeze to flow through. The breeze was a delight to the both of them despite the tense situation. How long was I out? Naruto asked her. Sakura looked out the window and gave him a small smile while her short hair flapped in the wind. At least 3 to 4 days. We thought you'd never wake up, but you and the others are going to be fine, Sakura said to him. Naruto looked at the sheets and couldn't help but frown a bit more. It was then that the blonde was brought out of his thoughts. Naruto, I'll bring him back, Sakura, Naruto suddenly said, interrupting Sakura, who gave a soft smile. She turned to Naruto and with her finest smile she tried to seem at least happy that he and the others were back alive. It's alright Naruto. I'm gonna train and get stronger so I don't leave you and Sasuke behind anymore. We'll get Sasuke-kun back together, she said and Naruto grinned at that. The blonde immediately nodded in agreement with her and gave her a thumbs up. You got it Sakura, Naruto said and it was then that the pink-haired Kunoichi looked at the seal marking on his right hand. She stared at the marking for a bit before turning to Naruto. Hey Naruto, what's that seal on your right hand? Sakura asked. Naruto looked at his arm and immediately widened his eyes. He had forgotten about it for a second and quickly racked his brain about what to tell her. There was no way she would believe that it was from the Shinigami or that Naruto met the Shinigami at all. Arrow Sennin drew this for myself. It's supposed to be a good chakra storage seal, Naruto said and Sakura gazed at the seal on his hand for a bit longer before nodding and walked off. Alright then. I guess I'll see you later then, Sakura said to him. Naruto nodded with his usual smile and watched Sakura leave. Naruto sighed and looked at the seal on his hand. How do I even have this contract? I already have a contract with the Toads, and if I recall, it isn't possible to have two contracts at once, Naruto said, and Kyuubi nodded with his knowledge of that at least. That's true, brat. I don't really know why that is, but since you have this contract, only two things can happen. Either you have both, or the Shinigami disbanded your contract with the Toads and made his own, Kyuubi said, and Naruto sighed again. He seemed to be doing that a lot today. Alright, I guess I'll try it out, Naruto said and bit his thumb. He went through the required hand signs and slammed his right hand. Kuchio's no jutsu, Naruto yelled, and his right hand glowed slightly. It faded after a while, and Naruto looked around the room, but didn't see any sight of the Shinigami at all. Is this some kind of joke? Naruto asked while wondering if the Shinigami had a sense of humor. I don't take things lightly, nor do I have a sense of humor that I know of. I didn't expect you to summon me so fast though, the Shinigami said from behind Naruto. The blonde gasped and immediately turned his head to see the death god right behind him. Naruto leapt out of the bed and pointed his finger at the god. Why, you're here. I really have a contract with you, Naruto asked, and the Shinigami nodded. That's right. You're the first human to have a full contract with me. The only ones who had an imperfect contract with me were the Sandaime and Yondaime from your village. And I take it you have questions, so let's get them over with, the Shinigami said, and Naruto nodded before sitting back on his bed with his arms and legs crossed. Alright. Where did this contract come from? Naruto asked. The Shinigami sighed and pointed to Naruto's head. When we were talking in your mind. Remember when I said you were the most interesting person to me? I take a general interest in things that are interesting to me, so I'm keeping an eye out for you, and what better way than a summon contract, the death god said, and Naruto nodded with him. Alright, thanks, I guess. So does that mean that my contract with the Toads ended? Naruto asked his newest summon. The Shinigami shook its head and pulled out some beads that were on its hand. No, the contract I have with you is one that the other summons don't know about and never will. You can continue to use the Toads at your leisure, but our contract is more than that, the Shinigami said, and Naruto raised an eyebrow. Why? No, I mean how? Naruto asked, making the Shinigami chuckle slightly. As you know, I'm the Shinigami, the ruler over the living and the dead. If you summoned me like the Yondaime or Sandaime did, then I would have to take your soul as compensation, but since you're my first summon, then I'm going to set the normal conditions. For now, you are only allowed to summon me twice a day. Second, whenever you summon me, I won't take your soul since we have a contract, the Shinigami told Naruto. All this information was burned into the blonde's mind, and he immediately agreed. He could only imagine if people thought he could summon the Shinigami. It would be mass chaos. The third condition is more to your benefit depending on how you use it, the Shinigami said, and Naruto raised an eyebrow. He was getting excited, but that was to be expected of the first real summoner to the Shinigami. Alright, so what is this final condition or benefit? Naruto asked in a hurry. The Shinigami sighed as it had to remember that it was dealing with a 13-year-old boy, so it wasn't abnormal that he would be excited, though the thought of being someone's summon was sort of interesting to the Shinigami even if it didn't show it completely. Alright, since you know I'm the Shinigami, it's sort of a benefit if you could call it that. Since I rule the dead, you're allowed to bring people back to life if you want to, the Shinigami said, making Naruto widen his eyes and drop his jaw. He could nearly faint from that information. I can revive anyone I want. That's awesome, Datbeo, Naruto said, forgetting his injuries and jumping up and down the room. The Shinigami sighed and its eyebrow twitched. I'm not done with it. This has two parts to it, so pay attention, the Shinigami said, and Naruto nodded, calming down enough to hear the rest of what the Shinigami had to say to him. While you can revive anyone you want, I still have to be the Shinigami, and just allowing you to bring back people would bring disorder to the realm of the dead. So on that note, for every person you revive, you must kill two people. One to fill the empty space, and the second is a sort of interest payment to me, the Shinigami told him. Naruto raised an eyebrow at the last part. But you're the Shinigami, why do you need more souls when you probably have millions of them already? Naruto asked, and the Shinigami nodded. It's like I said. It would cause disorder in the realm of the dead, Naruto Uzumaki. Humans, animals and other things going there is fine because when you die I take you there, but leaving is a completely different matter. No one has ever left my realm, and for good reason that I can't go into right now, the Shinigami said, and Naruto nodding, feeling that some secrecy must have been needed. He wasn't really sure that he wanted to know the consequences. So anything else I need to know? Naruto asked, and the Shinigami stared at him for a second, most likely in thought rather than plain looking. He then focused on the blonde some more and nodded. Last thing is that people like the Sandaime and Yondaime who use the imperfect contract with me can't be revived no matter what. That's the price they pay for the using that jutsu. Their souls are held within this pot right here to never be let out again, the Shinigami said, and Naruto looked at it in awe and slight sadness. In there was his admiration, the Yondaime, and his surrogate grandfather, Sarutobi Hiruzen. The blonde felt so close to them, but so far away. It really made him sad, but for some reason it wasn't as lasting as the blonde thought. Alright, just one last question, Naruto said, and the Shinigami nodded at its summoner. Alright, what is it? The Shinigami asked, and Naruto pointed to himself, making his summon raise an eyebrow. Why me? I mean, why did you chose me to be your summoner? Naruto asked, and the Shinigami had to chuckle. Maybe it was from Naruto's embarrassment of being the summoner to him, or for his own entertainment, the summon wasn't sure. I said it's because you interest me. You're the first person to threaten me of all beings. You're also the first person who had woken up before I could take your soul. Not to mention that even though it didn't hurt, you pierced your chest with that kunai to show how serious to me you were. I think that warrants enough of my interest in you, so like I said, I keep my eye on interesting things, and this is the best way, the Shinigami said, and Naruto nodded. His life just got better, he figured. Alright, I think I understand everything. So I can only summon you twice a day. Unlike those with the imperfect contract, you won't take my soul if I do summon you, and I can revive anyone from the dead so long as I pay back 2 people. Lastly, I can't bring those back who have used you in the imperfect contract, the Shikifujin thing that the furball was talking about, right? Naruto asked. The Shinigami nodded in a complete affirmative, and the blonde grinned. Alright then. I don't know what I can do, but I will be a great summoner to you, Shinigami. Is there anything else I can call you? Do you have a name? Naruto asked. The Shinigami raised an eyebrow and shook his head. Naruto sighed and rubbed the back of his head while wincing at the pain in his body. Then I guess I'll call you Shin, which should be short for Shinigami. Is that alright? Naruto asked. The Shinigami shrugged it off and said it didn't matter to the death god at all. Naruto seemed okay with it and nodded. Alright then, Shin it is, Naruto said, and the Shinigami began to fade. Oh, and just so you know, I recommend that you mix your attire slightly. You stick out too much in that orange thing, Shin said before Naruto gritted his teeth. Orange is cool, Naruto yelled, and immediately he turned to see next to him, looking at him like he was insane. Who are you talking to, Gaki? A white-haired man asked. Naruto turned to him and blushed in embarrassment. Oh, I was thinking out loud as all Ero Sennin. What are you doing here? Naruto asked, leaning up from his bed. The man gritted his teeth and pointed at the blonde. I'm not Ero Sennin. I'm the Toad Sage of Mount Myoboku. The women swoon when they hear my name. I am Jiraiya the Toad Sage. The man said, and Naruto sighed at his pervert teacher. He always was weird to the blonde, and he would never be any different, but Naruto went with it. Yeah, whatever, Ero Sennin, so what do you want again? Naruto asked him. Jiraiya pouted, then grumbled about young people and disrespect to their elders, but then he got serious. Fine, I'll make this quick then. You're going on a 2-year training trip with me. It's time I taught you more, and since you're in the village I'm not around much, but it's a different story if I'm with you, Jiraiya said, and Naruto's eyes gleamed. He instantly smiled, but it lessened when he saw Jiraiya's serious face. But before you go, I'm gonna tell you this now. Give up on Sasuke. He made his choice and nothing will change that. He's a traitor who hurt his friends, his comrades, and went to Orochimaru for power. If you pursue Sasuke, then you are only doing a fool's errand, Jiraiya said, and Naruto looked at the sheets. The blonde narrowed his eyes and he looked at the seal on his right hand. He then touched the seal on his stomach and grinned. Well then, I'll take the fool's errand. To either be wise and have no friends, or be a fool with lots of friends, I'll be the fool my entire life. I'll do amazing things on my own. I know Shin will help me, Naruto said, making Jiraiya raise an eyebrow while the blonde cursed. Who's Shin? Jiraiya asked, and Naruto gulped for a second. Sorry, different thought, but you get my point. I'm completely serious, Naruto said, and Jiraiya sighed while jumping off the window ledge. The thought of an idiot like you trying to do things on his own is downright stupid, and I'll be lucky if you don't meet the Shinigami too early, Jiraiya said. Naruto chuckled hesitantly while he looked at his right hand. You've got no idea, Arrow Sennin, Naruto thought with a grin. If you're this set on being a fool, then I'll just make sure you have the tools to make this foolish errand. Pack your things. We've got things to take care of right now, Jiraiya said, then shunshined out the window. Naruto stayed in his bed and grinned. He laid his head on the pillow and looked back at the seal on his right hand. The first Shinigami summoner. How cool is that, Datbayo? Naruto thought, and before long he went to sleep. It was then that the Shinigami, Shin, appeared and looked at his blonde summoner. Hee, a fool's errand, huh? Well, the fools are the most interesting. Looks like I'll get to see something really good, Shin said before finally disappearing. Naruto had no idea what was in store with him in his life. End of chapter 1.